The airport buzzed with tension. Delayed flights, frantic rebookings, tired parents, and crying children wrapped the terminals in a cloud of frustration. Among the chaos stood Jake Carter, 34, a single father with weathered hands and gentle eyes. His baby boy, Noah, just shy of a year old, rested against his chest in a carrier, feverish and restless. Jake stood at gate B14, clinging to a pair of boarding passes like they were lifelines. He had already missed 2 standby flights. His father's funeral in New York had drained him emotionally and physically, and now all he wanted was to get home to Seattle. "Carter, Jake?" called the airline representative. Jake stepped forward quickly. "We have 1 seat left," she said. "One?" he echoed, stunned. She nodded. "Just 1." Jake looked down at his son, his small body hot with fever. The rep spoke gently. "You'll need to hold him on your lap." Without hesitation, Jake whispered a hoarse thank you, eyes stinging. They were finally getting out. Home wasn't far now. As he walked onto the plane, softly humming to calm Noah, a flight attendant checked his ticket. 28B, she said. "Back row." Jake shuffled down the aisle, bumping elbows and murmuring apologies as he passed. He was almost there when a woman, in first class, stood. "Excuse me," she said with calm clarity. Jake paused, confused. "Is that your seat?" she asked the flight attendant, who shook her head. "No, ma'am, he's an economy." The woman turned to Jake. "Would you and your son like to sit up here instead?" He blinked. I couldn't. "You paid for that seat." She smiled gently. "Yes, I did. And I'd like you to have it." The flight attendant opened her mouth to protest, but the woman raised a hand. "I insist." Jake was at a loss for words. Noah stirred in his sleep as the cabin seemed to quiet. A businessman looked over his newspaper. A student pulled out her earbuds. A little girl peeked from between seats. Everyone was watching. Jake finally asked, "Why?" She looked straight at him and said softly, "Because once, someone did it for me, and I never forgot." Silence fell. The flight attendant gave a quiet nod. Jake hesitated only briefly before settling into the soft first-class seat, Noah still cradled to his chest. The woman took his crumpled ticket and walked down the aisle with grace, needing no recognition for what she'd done. They landed in Seattle 3 hours later. Jake searched for her in the crowd, but she was gone. A week later, a small envelope arrived with no return address. Inside was a simple card that read, "When my daughter was 2, a stranger gave me their seat in first class, so I could feed her in peace. It changed the way I saw the world. Pay it forward when you can. Always, L." Jake stared at the note, tears slipping silently down his face. 2 years passed. Now, Noah was a giggly toddler, curious and full of chatter. As they boarded another plane, Jake held a first-class ticket in hand. Nearby, a young mother struggled, balancing a stroller, a diaper bag, and a crying infant. Jake stepped forward, gently tapped her shoulder, and said, "Hi, would you and your baby like my seat?" She looked up, stunned. "Really?" He smiled. "Someone once did it for me." Because sometimes the biggest impact comes from the smallest gesture. Not fame, not fortune, just kindness, a choice to see someone else's need and meet it, no matter how small. In the end, it's not just about where you sit. It's about how far a single act of compassion can carry the heart.